in the hot seat again. Hey, everybody. Is this on? Yes, good. As you notice, I shaved my face. I had a meeting with people. I didn't want to look like some kind of Denzian homeless guy. Didn't want to look bad. I don't know. I don't grow a beard very well. I kind of look all. It doesn't come in nice. It comes in weird and gray, and I don't know. Even my haircut, it's all like everything's like flayed out. So, I tell the ladies I left a seat for them. That's vulgar. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, I have a meeting, and then turns out I leave my bag at the meeting in this office area, and then I didn't realize it until a good day and a half later, and then I had to go back and pick it up, and I felt so embarrassed. It's like I know it seems stupid, but like I'm the guy. Like historically, my whole life, I get nothing right. I get everything wrong. Like first crack of anything, wrong, wrong, wrong. Even when I practice, I get things wrong. Even when I try really hard, I get things wrong. I get things wrong all the time. Maybe it's because I was born left-handed. So, yeah, so everything to me is like pretty much backwards. I grab things with the wrong hand, just instinctually because that's how I was designed. And it stinks, honestly, to like wake up in the morning and then basically almost like you feel like you fall out of bed because the day is already off. You're off. Every decision you make is off. And sometimes it's the most obvious things in the world and you still get them wrong. And then I'm so used to self sabotage on top of it because it's like, this whole idea of self sabotage is an interesting concept of it's like, what do they call it? There's something I read online. It's like stepping into the void or jumping into the void. Like there's like I guess there's this temptation in people, especially in myself, that you have a morbid curiosity to jump into the blackness of the unknown. And usually that's when you get hurt, lose everything, destroy yourself because either you're just bored or you're just interested in looking into that void and you just can't help it. And I've done that so many times. I've just kind of like everything seems to be going okay, or I don't know. Not that it's going my way, but it's okay. Means that it's not going my way. And then you kind of just leap into something because it just, something just like a thought just possesses you and you jump. And when you jump, you're like, and then obviously you land pretty hard and you're like, oh, and it's just, I guess it's human nature, this impulse that we have. I mean, I followed my impulses, and for better or worse, I've done things to get results, but not knowing what those results will be. So everything is like this experiment without knowing what the goal is. So I don't know what the hell that is. It's basically doing a task that's weird or just unconventional and then not knowing or having any expectation of the outcome. So it's really not scientific. It's there's no method. It's madness. Sorry, the battery died. It didn't even give me a warning. I saw that it was red, but it wasn't flashing. That's what you get with buying cheap cameras. Don't buy a cheap camera like I do. Why did I buy a cheap camera? It's okay. You know what? Because I don't care. That is cheap. Cheap like your mother. Anyway, what was I saying? So then you get these results after doing something strange, dumb. A good percentage of the times, it just doesn't, the end result is not good, or it's completely like, it's like breaking something and breaking something even more to the point that it can't be fixed. So my life is basically, a lot of it is just unfixable, totally unfixable. I should have just left well enough alone. But, and then you get mad. And then I get mad at the results. Then I get mad at myself. Then I get mad at the results. Then I get mad at the whole thing. And then I'm like, well, why did I do it? Self-sabotage, I guess. I don't know. It's this, and I'm trying to control it. That was like my New Year's resolution, to do less self-sabotage. But um, it doesn't seem to really be working. Maybe there's too much time in my hands. I don't know. But it's a nervousness. It's this. It's kind of like a way to kind of get out of the drudgery too, because life becomes just drudgery no matter what you do. The days go on, especially winter in New York City. It's awful. It's an awful winter. It's cold. Um, and yeah, well, I'm not going to get into politics on this, so I don't even want to touch that. So obviously, you know what I know. You watch the news. You have a phone, most likely. You've seen a newspaper. So that's it, pretty much. But yeah, when you go through this, process of just trying to, feel things out, and then you try to break up the monotony. And breaking up the monotony, maybe it's better off to be monotonous. Why not? Leave it alone, man. Leave things be. Be patient. I have no patience. I've never had much patience. I've tried and tried to exercise patience, but holy moly crap, I have no patience. And as soon as I jump, it's like the patience moves. It's almost like a direct effect. Like I touch something. I have like that reverse Midas touch. Midas used to be able to turn things into gold. I turn things into feces when I touch them. But it's always like the opposite effect. It feels like nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. I'm being patient, patient, patient. And then as soon as I like give up my patience, or get off the train, or move my seat, or do something else, boom, all of a sudden the thing that I was waiting for happens, and I'm not there to receive it or be part of it. But it's almost like a direct causal effect, that it won't move until I leave. The hot girl won't show up until I leave the party. It's like it's like that. It's just my gambling doesn't work until all the numbers that I gamble on will hit as soon as I leave the casino or leave the table. Once my money's off the table, then that's when my numbers pop up. But if I leave my money on the table, I'll lose the whole thing. So it's just like you drive yourself crazy with all this stuff. And you're like, what do you do with that? How does that help anybody? It sucks. It does. And then, I feel like I get nothing right lately. Nothing. Nothing. And then the days drag on. You don't know what to do next. Or you're just waiting for stuff to come through. And you're sitting there like being in a big doctor's office. And you're like, well, as an artist and as a person who makes life happen, as a culturalist, as someone who is, or has aspirations, or at least, somewhat ambitious, you feel like you have to get your hands dirty the whole time. You're not the person who waits. You're not the person who sits on their hands and waits for something to happen. We are direct people. We're a deliberate kind of personality, that we make life happen now every day. Not we're living life to the fullest. I'm not skydiving every day and things like that, or I don't know, bungee jumping, whatever people do. But to just sit idly by, watch TV or read a book, and then life is just going out the door. And like, no, you want to work on the next piece, the next puzzle, the next idea, and you want to move forward and build and experiment and do all this stuff. In the interim of waiting for the other thing to happen that you put out there, like the stuff like I've put out, I've applied to several grants to move a lot of projects I have along, because they're stuck in the mud without having a considerable amount of finances. But by the time I hear from these grants, from these institutions, it's going to be months before I hear from them. Well, maybe not till the end of even this year. And this year just only started. So what the hell am I supposed to do until somebody tells me yay or nay? I can't just wait. I got to work on other things, screw around with other things, paint things, and then idle hands are the devil's workshop. And it's exactly the truth. I believe that totally. And hey, some of the greatest art has been made, in this kind of crunch or time period and stuff, but also, you could also just slit your own throat. And that's how I feel. Like it's like I'm either going to come up with something great or I'm just going to mess everything up. And all because of just kind of like, well, I got to do something, man. Even if, it's not even about having like a job or something like that. I know people do things to occupy their time, but still, I'm kind of an energetic person. I get a good night's sleep. I'm up for a good 16 hours. I get a fully charged battery after a full night's sleep. I'm ready to go do a lot of things, and pound the pavement on the streets, do whatever I need to do. My mind is also like all consuming, and then you want to wait for the galleries to call you back. You don't want to wait for the grants. You don't want to wait for anything. You just want to like try and try and try and try. You spend money that way, you spend time that way, and it kind of like fills in the day because you want to get the day over with, and then you want to get to the next day so you can get closer to whatever answer you really need. But it's hit or miss, and who knows, like I worry about myself, and my friends worry about me because they're just like, what do you just like, why don't you just calm down? I'm like, I can't calm down. I got to do something, man. I got to do things. And yeah, and it's like, and you're like, for better or worse. And it's like, I don't know a thing anymore. And at the same time, I feel like I can't get, even the things that I try, I can't even get them right because some of them have never been tried before. And who knows? It's like, that's the experimental process. There's a tremendous amount of failure in experimentation. And if you're not prepared to fail all the time, I fail every day. My whole life, I feel like I'm a failure. I fail constantly. 99% of my life is failed and a failure. Because and it's like Edison, like, what he said, like, I'll tell you 100 ways how not to make a light bulb. Like that's how I feel. I'll tell you 100 ways how not to do an art project or how to write something or how to make something. I have the biggest Bible. I have the mistake Bible. I have the opposite Bible. I have the opposite handbook. I was given that by birth. That was like, here, when they're handing out instruction manuals for life, they gave me the reverse one. They gave me the one that's written in Swahili or something. Like, I'm like, I can't read this. I don't know what's going on. Well, hey, you can't give it back. That's the one you got. Can't get a refund on the instruction manual. So, okay. I don't even know what else is going on today. Anyway, I'm kind of zapped, but I guess that's it for now.